Now, before we jump into the question via email, which is actually several comments and questions in a row, we always like to discuss our recently posted content. You can find it on YouTube, and many of these you can find on the Power Options webinars page as well. A couple weeks ago, we discussed strategy ideas to repair sunken stocks, different ways that one might be able to use options and other approaches to help a stock that's down 10, 15, or 20% and help you get back to break even faster. And then we added a discussion on avoiding the need to repair sunken stocks. And what that means is using a protected structure so we don't see stocks in our portfolio, whether they were covered calls, part of a naked put position, perhaps anything along those lines that are 10, 12, 15% or so. So different structures that you can use so that doesn't happen to you, a guaranteed exit better than the stop order. We discussed looking at married puts on ETF and inverse ETFs as well for bullish and bearish markets, but doing them also at the same time, which wasn't really a great idea. Repairing a long lost long call, a bought call option that's out to January that is down almost 80 or 90%. Is there any possible way to repair it? We discussed some ideas. And then, of course, we had a follow-up to that as well, repairing a long lost long call. And also recently discussion on the market sentiment tool and power options and other recent discussions that we've seen. And of course, if you're just getting started out with some new strategies, you're starting to learn maybe bearish spreads, or you're looking into diagonal calendar calls or poor man's covered call, check out the playlists on YouTube. The playlists are about 10, 11 videos in each strategy. There's about 12 different strategies we discuss. The videos in each strategy are designed to introduce the strategy, criteria discussion, tools to use for that strategy, comparisons, different structures in that strategy, and comparisons against other strategies, how to manage or roll a winning trade in one of those strategies, and also, more importantly, how to manage losing trades in those strategies as well. So you want to check that out there if you're just getting started in a strategy, or even just as a refresher, if you consider yourself, of course, an expert in certain strategies that you're using right now. All right, and let's just do a custom spread. And we'll do the 2-week out. So let's do AAPL. Let's say I'm opening a position on Apple today. And Bob says, I have an Apple position. Your analysis is consistent with what I've observed. Okay. Maybe it is just Apple. Maybe it's not every stock, but this is what's been kind of grinding on me with the 14 and 7-day out trades recently. I've just been seeing the monthlies giving a little bit more cushion. So let's go ahead and buy, let's buy our in the money leap here. 135 is a decent range in the money, about a price of 24.10, 24.20 at midpoint. And I'm going to go 14 days out. We're going to go with our 155 call. That's pretty good. 10% premium, 224, 234 against that $23, $24 cost for the leap option. Let's build our little calendar spread on Apple. This is not a recommendation or suggestion, just a sample structure. All right, so pretty good. Let's use the scrubber here. I kind of like this spread. Not a recommendation or suggestion. I haven't looked at Apple and don't know what the market's going to do. So this would be a structure Bob was looking at. I did use the 14-day out, Bob, instead of the 7-day, as you mentioned, and just a premium of 235. We're going to take a look at the option chain in just a minute to compare those. But you had mentioned the rolling, and you said, well, you wait till you get to expiration, of course, and then you decide if you're going to roll this one out to the next cycle, depending on your preference, if it's in the money or out of the money. And that's great. But what I tend to do, and I don't want you to overthink it, I want you to do what's comfortable for you. Now, diagonal spreads such as this, for me, now we're at the 135, the stock's at 150, we bought the 135. If the stock moves down a strike price, to me a strike price is 5 points, not 250. But if this fell to 145 and I'm losing premium here, and I still have 5 to 6 days to go on this, or maybe even 3 days to go, I'm likely buying this 155 call back at a cheaper price and rolling it down to the 150 to help get a higher premium to hedge that strike. Now, in my example, let's say next week where I still have 6 days left to expiration, Apple falls to 145 and I can buy this back. Let's just see what it would be worth. So let's go to 145. And yeah, that's 6 days to expiration is the 29th. So yeah, we'll use the 27th. Okay, so the premium I sold for 234, it'd probably be only about 32 cents in this case. And I've lost $350 here. So to get a better premium still, maybe not to July 29th at that point. Remember, we're saying on July 22nd, 7 days from now, 7 days to the expiration of the short option. But I've made essentially 80% or so, 75, 80% of what I expected to make on this call anyway, and I'm losing a fair amount here. So I might buy to close this for that 32 cents and then sell to open, the 4th of August, is it the 4th or the 5th? The 5th of August, excuse me, 150 call with the stock at 145. Roll it down to try to collect another $1.50 or $2 there to help hedge this loss. And I'm realizing this profit in this case. That's one approach I might use as it moves continuously down. As it moves down a strike from where I got in, a full 5 points, for example, and I can get 75 to 80% of what I expected to make on my short call premium, I might just roll it down and then move it out a week, because we'd be only 6 days here, not 14, but I might move it out to the next 14 days to try to keep hedging the loss I'm seeing on this position. Dangerous in a sense, yes, because now if the stock's at 145 and I'm at the 150 strike and it recovers and it gaps up to 152, I'm going to have to move that. And that's what I do too. If my stock, Bob, even before expiration, if it goes 1 or 2 strikes in the money, so if it goes up to 157.50, probably 157.50, 158, I'm looking to roll this call before it gets too expensive and gets deeper in the money. Going to that higher strike, maybe 160 or most likely the 165, but I'd also have to increase the time trying to roll for a credit in that case as the position moves. Okay, so that's just my thoughts on your rolls. I think you're doing it well, Robert. I think you're doing it in a very similar approach that I would be doing in that case. I just wanted to clarify that of how we would look to roll those positions and how we would look to make those adjustments as well. Okay, and of course, for more information, I should say, on various concepts of rolling calendar spreads, thoughts for rolling calendar spreads. There we go. Bull call. Great. Sorry about that. Okay. So remember, you can go over to YouTube, check out the playlist, and you've got the calendar call, diagonal, poor man's covered call, full playlist. The basic guide, good candidates, basic structure, and importance of certain criteria. Tips on managing the sold call, rolling a deep in the money calendar, and fixing a broken calendar. But this one here, diagonal, criteria, tips, and managing the sold call. A little bit similar review of what we just discussed there, Robert. So you can always check that out, or anyone else who's online at any time. You can see the ideas of exit triggers, rolling and adjusting positions for the calendar spread, diagonal, or poor man's covered call as well. That's all available for you. All right. Thank you, Robert. Excellent question. I'm glad we got to cover that for you. And I'm happy to see that you saw the same thing that I've seen compared to those weekly versus monthlies as well. That's reassuring, but I do want to get a little bit more into that. And I think it's just the market fluctuations that are causing the weeklies a little bit more trouble. Smaller premium, wider moves in a 3 or 4 day period, unexpected. It shows more pain on the position than if you had not, again, 4 times the amount or maybe even 3 times the amount, but more than double the amount. 2.5, 3 times the amount there, the loss would seem a little less ease because of the higher premium looking at the monthlies as opposed to the weeklies. Okay. But again, as I said, Chuck would disagree with me because he's hitting his specific targets using those credit spreads and everything with the 5-day trades looking for 1% per day or 5% per week. And he's achieving that. So that's exceptional. And he's doing extraordinarily well in that case. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 5:33 p.m. Eastern time. We covered the topics that were sent via email, and I hope it was instructional for you, but I didn't see any other, live questions come in other than Fernando's comment related to what he was trading that we reviewed a little bit, and I'll try to find that as well. But if anyone has any questions you wanted to ask today, rolling or adjusting positions, using the tools and power options, we still got plenty of time. We can hang out for another 15, 20 minutes or so. If anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask about their options trading, options investing, of course, the tools and power options, if you had anything there or any concepts that you might have on other strategies. And while I'm waiting to see, of course, let's take a look here. I'm sorry, let's go back. There we go. Okay. I want to check the portfolio real quick and just see here, some of the positions we had. The Starbucks position, we had that call expire worthless. Just like everything else, it dipped down the other day. It was down to 77. I was looking to sell an 82 strike call a little while ago, but the stock was in the same range, 79.62. So I moved it up. I was looking at the 82 strike. When it pulled back to 77, I was thinking of selling the 80 strike, but I waited. Today we got the move that we wanted, but I didn't get the trigger pulled fast enough to sell that call in the position. So yeah, the Starbucks Marriott put, it's at a 4.2% risk, but that's pretty good because we started off with 7%, and we've reduced it, by 2.8%. In the short time frame we've been in on it, and that's just, I'm sorry, about a month, just 30 days. So we've managed to reduce the risk by almost not quite half. But we're going to sell another call against that soon in that case. So that's been working out well for us here. This is the bull put credit spread we talked about for Don. As you can see, it expired worthless today. It was only that 35-cent net credit. And this strangle is at a wash for me right now. This is the long strangle currently in not more than one contract, but this is that long strangle I was talking about on SPX and SPY. I'm sorry, SPY QQQ. I have a 395 call, and I'm going to explain that price in a minute, and a 355 put. Now, as we saw back in the portfolio here, this is at 591. I paid 680 for it, so I'm losing on both. But this minus 388 price, that's from the previous adjustments that we've made on the position for SPY, the profits that we've taken from the others. And there's two other profitable spreads here that haven't been entered. Strangles, I should say, not spreads, that we didn't track, that are tracked in the real portfolio, not in the webinar portfolio. And there's the XRT plays that we were using during earnings, where we closed half, we started closing different positions at different times when we had a profit on them. And then we kept this one for too long, and it ended up taking away from the profits we were making during the earnings cycle in that case. So just wanted to look at that. And for Don, let's just go ahead and position actions and expire all options. We'll just clear that out there. Okay. And we'll have that in the records. And yeah, I'd probably, someone did comment, would you re-bracket the strangle now? No, it's still August. It's still 35 days to go. If this goes up to, say, $8, if SPY continues up in this 395 call, hoping now, but if that goes up to about $8 or so, even though I'm losing on this position with the previous profits we had, I'll probably re-bracket it at that time, meaning I'll close both this call and this put, and at that time look for a delta of maybe 0.4 to 0.35 out of the money to buy the new strike for the call or put to continue the strangle going forward for uncertain markets. I haven't fine-tuned all of what I want to do with that position, with that structure and that trade yet, but it's just an idea. I was actually talking to a couple friends of mine a few days ago at a sort of reunion party that we had, and a gentleman was doing the same thing. One of my friends was doing the same thing I was, but he would just close the strangles and wait till later time to open them. And I said, I roll mine, re-bracket the whole thing once I get the profit. And he never thought about doing that before, so it was interesting to compare the two different approaches in that case. So it was kind of a fun experiment, but in any case. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't see any other questions that have come in, but if you do have a last-minute question, of course, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and send that in. Don't be shy. I just want to remind everyone, of course, that today's material are my thoughts and your questions designed for educational purposes, increasing investing performance and options knowledge. Any stocks or options discussed today should not be taken as direct recommendations or trading suggestions. Options involve risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Now, we only really got to see a couple of the tools today. We looked at the search a little bit in a screenshot for the bear call credit spreads earlier. We looked at the custom spread tool to analyze the rolling of our calendar spread or theoretical calendar call spread on Apple. But remember, you can take a 14-day free trial at any time to access our patented search tools, use the defaults in our 23 different strategies, or create your own. A series of signature tools, including the market sentiment tool, the long option finder, and more. You'll have 3 months access of historical data to run the back testing tools and play around with those. No credit card required. You'll have full access to the site for 14 days. After that, subscription levels start at only $45 per month. That's for the end of day data. The delayed data service, where it's updated every 12 to 15 minutes, that's only $65 per month. And of course, if you wanted the delayed service with the full historical access, about 7.5 years or so of historical data, that's only $35 more. So delayed plus historical is only $100 per month, $35 more than the $65. We do, of course, offer real-time service, and the premium service includes everything, real-time, historical, and access to the programmer's interface, the API. You can cancel at any time. There's no contractual obligation. Free coaching sessions are available on all levels of subscription. It's not just one and done. You can have multiple coaching sessions, even on a trial or as a subscriber. And of course, you can upgrade at any time. Now, I reviewed some of the education today, but remember, you can take a look at our free education at any time. You can go to PowerOptions and click on the free webinars tab and go through the different categories of tools presentations, options strategies, options concepts, and requested topics. Or you can check out the YouTube channel. You go to YouTube and go to the video sections and you do a search for call buying, put buying, diagonal spread, poor man's covered call, whatever you want. You'll see all the various videos that are available for those topics as well. Now, I didn't see any last minute questions come in, but I do want to remind everyone, of course, if you think of any other questions, send us an email at any time to support@powerop.com or support@radioactivetrading.com. And also call us during market hours at 302-992-7971. And of course, trial members and subscribers, feel free to schedule a coaching session at any time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me this afternoon. I hope you got some useful information and maybe some useful ideas out of today's presentation. As always, today's presentation was recorded. The full recording for PowerOptions subscribers will be available probably in about an hour and 20 minutes, and it'll be on the webinars page there under the requested topics tab. We'll also later this evening start breaking apart the two sections. I really don't think it's two sections. We might do three, but I think it's only going to be two sections of presentation today. And we'll get those up to you on Saturday, usually by 12 noon Eastern. I'll send out an email letting everyone know that the segments are available on YouTube or in the PowerOptions webinar archive. And of course, if you think you want to share with what you're doing, what's been working for you, those of you that are live or those of you that watch the recording, remember, send me an email to support@powerop.com following the beginning part of this presentation. Let me know what you're doing, what's working for you, and what you're trading in these current markets. We'd love to hear it, and we'll have some follow-ups to that presentation as we get more ideas and discussion from our video viewers, from our PowerOptions subscribers, and our trial members.